morning and welcome to Mid-Morning. I'm Lynn Ford. We begin the week with six back-to-back author interviews. But before we get into today's conversations, let me bring you a post-share update in case you've missed it. We are less than 2 months away from having all of 2013 covered with your financial support. And if you'd like to help us pay off November and December, you can either mail your gift to our Fort Wayne address or pledge online at WBCL.org. We welcome your partnership in changing lives together in 2013. Thank you so much. We begin the hour with Hilary Hall DeBaun, author of the charming and quirky teen novel starring Arabelle, published by Erdmans. Good morning, Hilary, and welcome to Mid-Morning.
Good morning, Lynn. Thank you so much for having me, and it's a pleasure to be with you and your listeners.
You've been writing fiction full-time since you left MIT, but before that, you co-founded and taught in the first integrated preschool in Talladega County, Alabama, and later co-taught a course in children's literature. So you understand writing in books, but starring Arabelle is your first published book. Tell us about the road to publishing this humorous and very fresh story.
Well, it took a number of years for the publication of the book to happen. Arabelle started out as a character in a few short stories that I wrote. And the short stories were, in those days, unpublishable because publishers weren't doing short stories. Mm-hmm. But an editor at Random House suggested that I take the character Arabelle Archer and blow her into a novel. So I did that, wrote a first novel, which was quite dreadful. And,
as first novels can be, yes.
Yes, they are. The second novel wasn't an awful lot better, but she stayed with me, her voice, and the humorous way that she dealt with life's problems kind of continued to intrigue me enough to go on and write a third book, which is now the book that has been published starring Arabelle.
Yours is a teenage tale without any dark angst. Was that a deliberate choice on your part?
It was. Arabelle has always been funny, and I want humorous, not funny, odd. And I wanted to give her a palette where she could, where her humor would show, where she could be funny, but she could also be difficult. She could be stubborn. She could be at times an unreliable narrator. As a matter of fact, she is a pretty unreliable narrator. It didn't mean that I wrote out the idea of angst, because I think there is some angst.
Yes.
When she is in the nursing home, which is the second plot of starring Arabelle. But I didn't feel that I needed angst for her in the way that many novels for young readers have in today's world.
And when I say dark angst, I mean there's no teen pregnancy, there's no drugs, right. There's no cutting.
No,
and some might say, well, this is a novel from a different time. I'm not sure about that. There's just something delightfully fresh and innocent not in a naive way, but in a way that certain families really are living, and by their lives, they're changing the lives around them.
I think you're absolutely right. A bookseller recently told me that the summer reading list for many teenagers, what they're interested in reading after they get through reading about vampires and dystopian and all that kind of thing, and books about troubled teenagers, they're still reading Anne of Green Gables. And they're still reading The Secret Garden,
Yes.
And so that gives you as a writer hope that the starring Arabelle genre, hasn't entirely died out like the dinosaur.
Well, it just goes to show you how conflicted a teen is. You know, there's so much going on in their heads, and they're trying to figure out life, which,
Exactly.
you know, they can fluctuate from, you know, really big, strong, dark emotions to, you know, that light freshness that gives them a sense of hope and those sorts of things. In starring Arabelle, her desire is to be a great actress. That's her long-term desire. But she's in a play. Well, she starts out as the prompter in a play, which is You Can't Take It With You. So it's part of the storyline of starring Arabelle. Did you take any cues from that madcap romp in your writing of your story?
From
You Can't Take It With You.
Yes.
Because they have the same sort of feel in ways.
Right. When I was writing, developing the nursing home scenes, that part of the plot, I knew I was going to have antic, older residents there. You know, the characters, really. And I thought that I wanted to have them mimic, in a way, the characters in a play. So at first, you know, I kind of scattered around trying to figure out, well, what is the play going to be? And I went through a number of different plays, and then really out of the blue, I remembered You Can't Take It With You. I have never acted in it, but I was very familiar with it, and I remembered that it was hilarious. So I went down to the library and took it out, read it, and you know, it just really stands up to time. It is a funny play. Well, you know from your familiarity with it. So I thought, this is perfect, because the characters in the nursing home, Heavenly Rest, in many ways mimic the characters in You Can't Take It With You. And Arabelle has no real notion of that. She's just, you know, when she dislikes her volunteer job so deeply, she can't see that the characters, the old people she's dealing with, are so like the characters in You Can't Take It With You. Characters in the play that she deals with every day as a prompter.
An Academy Award-winning film from the 30s with Jean Arthur, who has that wonderful kind of strange voice that works for her, and Jimmy Stewart. Oh, just amazing. Arabelle is only a freshman. Does that mean that we're going to follow her through high school?
Yes, it does, provided my publisher agrees. I have another book that I've just submitted. It's not a finished draft. I have to do more revision on it, which I do with my critique group. But it will give Eerdmans enough of an idea about what happens in this next book. And this book is the book to come will be a little darker. It won't be quite the romp that starring Arabelle is, but not dark. I hasten to assure you, it's not dark in terms of drugs, pregnancy, suicide, etc., etc. It's not dark that way.
Well, I got the book based on the description in the Eerdmans catalog, and sometimes the description is so delightful and engaging that when you have high hopes for the book, and then the book comes and you read it and you say, oh, well, it's not quite as good as the description was, but it's still a good book. But when I read yours, everything it was a fit, it was a match to the way that it was described. And thank you for writing this. Thank you for writing this kind of book, because it's a wonderful alternative to what a lot of teen girls are reading. It's realistic in the way that the characters feel, but I love the fact that Arabelle has two parents and they like each other.
They do, yes.
They like each other.
Yeah.
And Arabelle can be a difficult teenager, and they deal with that, and there's fallout from choices, those kinds of things. But it's a very hopeful book. As I said, it's innocent, but it's got an inner wiliness to it. It's smart, and so any teenage girl reading it isn't going to feel like it's sort of a dumbed down book for teenage girls. It's very, very real in the things that teenage girls feel. So thank you for this book, and I look forward to reading others, and for this option for teen girls to be able to read, and for parents who like to buy books for their daughters or whatever. Is this book available as an ebook? Do you know if it is, Hillary?
I'm sorry?
Is it available as an ebook for a reader?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
Just making sure. I know that there are more ebooks that are being sold than actual, paper books, but always want to make sure.
It's on Kindle.
Okay.
I don't think it's yet on Nook, but it is on Kindle.
Excellent.
All right.
Hilary Hall DeBaun, so nice to meet you and to meet Arabelle, and we look forward to more adventures.
Lynn, thank you so much for this interview. I've enjoyed it.
I have too. Thank you.
Meeting you. Thank you. Bye.
God bless you. We have 3 copies of the book starring Arabelle to give away to callers 8, 9, and 10 who are either girls ages 13 to 18, because we have homeschooling families listening, or if you're the parent of a girl that's in that same age range, 13 to 18, and you haven't won anything on Mid-Morning in the past 30 days, give us a call, 260-745-9090, 260-745-9090, and you'll get a copy of Starring Arabelle.